Hey, what do you know? It's the Zombie Tactics channel again, coming at you today with the review of the Tactical Response Fighting Rifle Course, more specifically James Yeager's Tactical Response and their Fighting Rifle Course. They teach this course all year round at their Camden, Tennessee location, and they also do a mobile version of it, which came to a local Sacramento area range where I took the course. I did this straight on the heels of having done the fighting pistol course that they offer as well. Same range, same organization, the whole bit. Over what I guess you'd call a 4-day weekend. Thursday and Friday being fighting pistol, Saturday and Sunday being fighting rifle. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is, first of all, check out the review of fighting pistol. There are a lot of comments that I have in that review regarding training philosophy and methodology that apply equally here as they do to the fighting rifle, as they do equally to the fighting pistol course. And I don't want to just repeat the same material over and over when some of you have already seen that, and everybody should see that for that matter. Just briefly though, sort of the training philosophy of James Yeager's organization, Tactical Response, is that for their courses they tend to do what I refer to as a very wide skill set with sufficient depth so that you're going to get those skills, you're going to learn those skills, but you're not necessarily going to master them. Okay, but that's something that you can take with you and practice later. That's a tremendously viable method of training. Not necessarily saying that other methods are not viable, just this is a good way to train, and it's a way to train that will definitely push you in ways that other sorts of training won't. So, that having been said, the short version of the review is I had a great time, meaning that I had to work very hard and I learned a lot of new things and got a lot of things in the old gray matter here to kind of chew about and think about in the way that I would handle a rifle in a combative or defensive situation, anything like that. Well, straight off the bat, the fighting rifle course started out to seem like almost an identical course to fighting pistol. And I have to tell you that for a little bit there I was kind of going, great, I just did fighting pistol, and the only difference seems to be that we're going to take pistol, put that down, pick up imaginary rifle, and pretty much go over the same material with the rifle as opposed to a pistol. I suppose I should put this down now. It's chamber check, you know. Okay, there we go. But very quickly, that turned out to not be the case, and thank God, because I would not have had a good time at all and would not have thought that this would be a good value for the money for someone having just taken fighting pistol if you just did exactly the same thing in fighting rifle, just exchanging weapon systems. After the first couple of exercises, though, it was apparent that this was not the case, particularly because we went into transition drills between rifle and pistol, where we were going to practice and work with skills and manipulations for transitioning from a rifle, boom, to a pistol and getting that employed in case something were to happen with your rifle in the middle of any of the other scenarios. And from that point on, it was immediately assumed, that we would then treat the two weapon systems as a single unit, as two units a part of a greater whole, or a single unit, if you might want to look at it that way. And that if we had a problem with our rifle for some reason, something that couldn't be fixed, either we were out of ammunition and we couldn't find it really quickly, or there was some mechanical problem with the rifle that could not be immediately resolved, and we still had a problem we had to solve in a defensive or tactical situation, we're immediately, boom, go right to pistol and use that pistol just as like we would be using the rifle. Just continue on, keep going, run the scenario, work it hard, solve the problem, get it done, learn the skill, that kind of thing. I thought this was a tremendous approach to training, particularly because in most environments where you're likely to be carrying a rifle for self-defense, you're probably going to have a pistol on your hip as well, and it doesn't make any sense to not treat them as a part of a single weapons system or the tools that are available to you. So I thought this was great, and throughout the rest of the course, this was a constant theme. It's like, there's something wrong with your rifle, what do? You go to pistol. And that definitely added a whole different level of stress inoculation potential, as well as made all of the various manipulations and tactics far more interesting from a learner's standpoint. It made you have to step up and push your own skills and learn something new rather than just perhaps going to some other courses where you'll concentrate on, well, now we're just going to sight in the rifle, and now we're going to take a shot at this range. We're going to take a shot at this range, and then maybe do a couple of little tactical scenarios. No, no, no. This course all the way through was nothing but running scenarios where you're going to have to do something to solve the problem that usually involves shooting, and you've got a rifle, and you use the rifle till you can't use the rifle, and then you better be going to pistol. Or, you know, one of the instructors, Paul or Aaron, is going to be screaming in your ear, what the heck happened to your pistol? Where is it? You know, did you forget? That kind of thing. Part of the course was a little intimidating for me, and I'll talk about that a little bit in light of how I think they adapt the course to whatever student group they're dealing with. During the phase that we sort of all did the whole, hi, my name's, you know, whatever, welcome to Fighting Rifle, and introduced ourselves to the group, it became apparent to me very quickly that, oh God, I'm sitting in this course as a civilian, and almost everybody in this course, it seemed at that time, certainly at least half, were either experienced military or law enforcement people, most of whom had actually employed a rifle and or a pistol in either actual war or, you know, a law enforcement operation or something like that. I think 2 or 4 guys actually had come back from Iraq recently, and so I was a little intimidated being in that group. It turned out to be kind of a blessing as a result, and I think it's for this reason. I get the impression, and James Yeager may chime in on this, on the comments, and correct this impression, but I get the impression that what they do is they run the course as hard as they think they can run the course and go through as many things they can go through in the course, subject to whatever the group of students are capable of handling. And so from my standpoint, even though I felt like, wow, I've really got to step up here, I'm in a group that's really, I'm going to be just all week trying to play catch up. I found that surprisingly valuable so far as the kind of training that I received and the knowledge that I received. I really thought for most of those 2 days I was lagging. I was constantly in catch-up mode. That certainly added a different level of stress to the training for me, and that, I think, was actually a good thing. I was tired by the end of those 2 days, and especially because it was actually the end of 4 days, having done fighting pistol immediately prior to this. I do get the impression that they run through as much course material they can, as well as they can, subject to whatever the demands and the abilities of the class are. And because I was with a bunch of people who kind of knew what they were doing, I do get the impression that we got to do more things or run them harder, or were expected to run them better than perhaps some other classes would, because the curve was set that much higher for this group. So when it came to things like team tactics or other more advanced scenarios, I think we may have done some things that you couldn't necessarily count on doing in every single class, but rest assured that whatever the level of the class that you're in is capable of doing, you're going to be pushed to that level. And I get the impression that Paul Gomez and Aaron Little, the 2 very excellent instructors, are well skilled as instructors and coaches at gauging that carefully to maintain safety and at the same time push the envelope on you and get you to a point where you're learning new things. So yes, we did do everything from one-on-one encounters at various ranges, shooting behind cover, engaging in team tactics, both 2- and 4-man team tactics, stacked tactics and other things like that. All of these things designed to get you to do some combination of manipulating a weapon, using your cover, assessing the tactical scenario, communicating with your partners while moving, while fighting, maintaining a rate of fire downrange against an imaginary bad guy or whatever. Some of the footage I'll probably be rolling in over here, assuming that I've got good footage, will probably show some of that. But the long and short of it was that Tactical Response's Fighting Rifle course is definitely, once again, getting the old ZT stamp of approval for a rifle course. Something you should definitely consider doing. If you can't get out to Camden, Tennessee, you want to check their schedule, because they do this training all over the country. People sponsor the course and bring it to their local range. You might also want to get a hold of them yourself and see about sponsoring the course at your own range. There are some advantages to doing that. monetarily or in terms of making it less expensive or whatever that you might want to examine with tactical response as well. That's about all I have to say about the training. Can't say enough about it. Do it. I'm going to do it again when I can. And that's Zombie Tactics for today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.